Today we're visiting Plitvice Lakes National Park, the largest and one of the oldest national parks in Croatia. In 1979, it was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List. The Plitvice Lakes are in the Dinaric Alps, which separates the coastal region from the inland plateau. It takes a while to get to the park, 2 to 3 hours from Zagreb. We're coming from Opatija, so it's going to take a little over 2 hours. We'll need to get to Šibenik tonight, about a 2.5 or 3 hour drive. So here's a tip. Every year, over 1 million people visit this park, and most arrive between 11 and 1. So plan accordingly. Try to arrive early or stay overnight near the park. So we need to make the best use of our time in the park. There are 16 lakes in the park and countless waterfalls. The lakes are divided into the upper lakes and the lower lakes, connected by the largest lake, Kozjak. There are 2 entrances named Entrance 1 and Entrance 2, connected by a free shuttle. The plan is to enter at Entrance 1 and hike the lower lakes, then take the 20-minute boat ride on Kozjak Lake, and then hike the upper lakes and come out at Entrance 2. Just minutes from the entrance, we see the largest waterfall in Croatia, appropriately named Velik Slap, the big waterfall, with a height of 78 meters. The Plitvice River flows over the big waterfall and joins the outflow of the lower lakes to become the Korana River. For part of its length, it forms the border between Croatia and Bosnia-Herzegovina. As we walk down a series of switchbacks to get to the level of the lower lakes, we get a great view of the lower lakes up their canyon. What gives this place its unusual, if not unique feature, is the confluence of several small rivers and the karst limestone that make up the Dinaric Alps. The lakes are separated by natural dams of travertine, which is deposited by the mineral-rich waters, aerated by the waterfalls and trapped by the vegetation. The colors of the lakes change from azure to green, gray, or blue, depending on the quantity of minerals or organisms in the water and the angle of the sun. The travertine dams are constantly changing as rock is being eroded and sediments are being deposited. When the mineral-laden water flows over the dams, the foaming water deposits sediments which are gradually added to the barrier. Vegetation aids this process by providing a substrate for the sediments to stick to. The lakes are connected by an extensive system of well-maintained boardwalks that protect this fragile ecosystem. Some take you beside cataracts with water tumbling over the stair steps of travertine. Others invite the visitor to take a close look at the dynamics of the travertine barrier, covered with moss and algae, directing the flow of water. The boundary of every lake has an abundance of waterfalls, small and large, constantly remodeling the travertine dam. We've reached the largest lake, Kozjak. The electric boat that would take us to the upper lakes has just departed on its 20-minute trip. There are 2 boats, so one departs from here about every 30 minutes or so. We're cheered up by some local entertainment, but then we see that the queue for the boat is snaking up the hill. So we'll probably have to stand in line for at least an hour to get the boat ride to the upper lakes. So we decide to save the upper lakes for our next trip to Croatia. But instead of retracing our steps, There is another trail back to entrance 1 that will give us a different perspective and hopefully some nice pictures. From the canyon's rim, we can appreciate the colors of the lakes and the complexity of the travertine dams. The park covers 73,350 acres, with the lakes surrounded by a birch, spruce, and fir forest, which supports one of the most significant areas in Croatia for plant and animal diversity, including 50 species of mammals and 157 species of birds. We take another look at the big waterfall and head back to entrance 1 to meet our driver and take the long ride to our next adventure in Šibenik. Another tip, expect crowds, especially from July to September. Most people have a plan like ours, going from entrance 1 to entrance 2. Next time, we're starting at entrance 2 and doing the upper lakes first.